Wow! Hey guys, welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are all doing fantastic. Also, Shido, thank you for the follow right away as soon as I show up. Hope you guys are all doing well. So today's gonna be quite a fantastic stream because I have with me Ace Aura. Welcome to the stream, man.
Hey, that's me.
That is you. So Ace Aura is a melodic bass producer from Dallas, Texas, in America, who has gathered the underground's attention recently, having under his belt some notable releases like his EP and the 99 Lives, right? A single titled Ensnared on Rushdown, and most recently a remix of Ray Volpe's Wet Napkin with a collaboration with Chime. So
yes.
I'm glad to have you over. Today we're here to not only do a Q&A with you guys, but also we're going to talk a bit about his career and also the EP he has forthcoming tomorrow on Rushdown. So yeah,
yes.
I'm glad to have you over. I hope I didn't fuck up that introduction in any way.
No, you're good. I was just trying to like figure out when I could actually speak and when you were like saying stuff. So
no, I'm sorry.
sense.
I was just saying everything already. No need for questions. Let's just say everything he has already done.
No, you're good, man.
No,
but yeah, my EP comes out on Rushdown tomorrow. One of the tracks will be premiering on Your EDM today. I am super excited to release it. This EP has been, I've written it over the course of about 4 months. And it's basically like told kind of the story of what my life has been like and my relationship with God has been like over the past 4-ish months. And every one of the tracks is like extremely inspired by something specific. Yeah.
That's something that I was gonna ask you later on about the inspiration on your tracks, because I know Chime running Rushdown is a person that really loves the story and the emotion behind the tracks. He did that with me with For You and Farther, the collab I had with him as well. He was always very invested in that story. So I was wondering if there was anything going on in there, and I'm glad there is, and we'll talk about that a bit more later. Right now, I'm interested in asking you a few questions about like your career so far and how far you've come, because I've known I have heard your name like about a year ago, I'd say. That's when I first heard your name, and I started hearing your songs. You always had this kind of melodic but also rhythm-ish sound design, which was really interesting to hear. It was very refreshing in a way. Do you have yeah, go ahead.
So I've like the big goal I've been doing with my music lately, or really always, is trying to combine like heavier stuff with more melodic stuff. Because I feel like a lot of artists just kind of go polarized to one side. Like most of their stuff is all melodic and there's not much like really cool heavy sound design. Or you go the total opposite direction, like what rhythm is now, where it's just like no melodic content at all, and I don't like that.
Yeah,
I've been trying to combine the two.
Which is a very good thing to do, because there's a lot of melodic content out there, and there's a lot of heavy content, but not very often the two of them come together to make something really beautiful and very danceable.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, welcome Chime to the stream. How you doing, man?
Oh, Chime's here, my boy.
Mr. Harvey's in the house. But yeah, it's I've known a few people. I've been trying to do that quite lately, mostly with the first time I've ever tried to do that was with somebody, but not to the biggest of my avails. Even though it got to NCS, it wasn't really the best thing I've ever done. I know you've been doing that with music, doing that heavy and melodic combination. One of the people that has been doing a lot of that as well, which is funnily enough, he joined Chime. Tell me, how was it working with Chime in your opinion? Because it must have been cool to work on that remix.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It was pretty surreal at the time. So like, what had happened is, so you know how Ray Volpe had, like, he was gathering up the remixes for his No Emotion Allowed remixes EP?
Yeah, exactly.
So me and Harvey were both asked to remix Wet Napkin, and we both kind of were working separately. And at the time, Harvey was really busy, so he hadn't actually started his remix yet. And I was working on mine, and I would like occasionally send him stuff, and I was like, hey, this is my remix so far, listen to it please, and stuff like that, because I was still kind of new to like talking to artists that, so like I met Harvey through the remix competition with Wait For Me, and I was still kind of in that stage of freaking out, like, yo, this is a guy I listen to all the time, and now I'm talking to him, what is this? So
you have been one of the people. I don't recall if you were actually the winner or if you were just one of the most notable remixes.
Yeah, I got second place on that.
Exactly. As far as I remember, you were one of the top 3. I just didn't remember the. Yeah, but it was really cool to see your to hear your take on Wait For Me.
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, I guess I'll go on a tangent and talk about that a little bit first. But with the Wait For Me remix, like, I feel like it's easiest for me to make remixes with tracks that have vocals, because I can take like the feel of the vocal and kind of put my own twist on it and interpret it my own way to make an instrumental for it. And that's what I did with Wait For Me. Of course, the marimba, I use it in every track because it's my favorite instrument. I made a cool melody for that. Yeah, it's the best instrument. Don't at me.
The best, bar none. I was gonna comment on that, where or almost every single track of yours that I hear has that kind of marimba-ish thing going on.
Yeah, if I make a track that doesn't have a marimba now, that's a mistake. There should be a marimba in it. I have remembered one of the latest tracks that you've done was a VIP of an old track of yours, and there was substantially way more marimba in the latest version. So, it's actually kind of funny you mentioned that. That was Metamorphosis VIP. Yeah, and in the original version of Metamorphosis, I'll give a bit of insight into my process for that track. So what I wanted to do with that track is I made Metamorphosis VIP 2 years ago, and for that track, it was, my thought process was, okay, I'm making music that I kind of like, but I don't really like the direction my music is going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a list of everything I like in music that I listen to. And that included like Spanish guitar, marimba, of course, different music theory concepts like parallel chords. I don't think I actually used that in the track. Stuff like that. And I tried to incorporate every single thing on that list into one track, just for fun. And that ended up being my most popular track at the time. And I was like, okay, this is going somewhere. So I kind of continued with that kind of style and trying to be more unique rather than just kind of making stuff that everyone else is making out of fear of not being accepted, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you. It's always nice to keep a balance between experimental and what you like to do, and also what other people like to listen. It's a nice balance that I feel like gives character to your music and makes it listenable in a broader variety.
Yeah, definitely. Because sometimes, like, I used to have this fear of making things that were different because I didn't know how it was going to be accepted, and I didn't know if people were going to like unfollow me for it or just not like it, which is kind of a dumb fear. But anyway, I had that, and then I finally got over that recently when I was just trying to branch out and do different sound design, and then I realized, hey, people like new things. it just kind of continued.
Exactly. It's always really cool to experiment with some new stuff, and then realizing that people really like this kind of new direction. So I'm glad it worked out for you. Also,
were we talking about the collab?
Huh?
I think we were talking about the collab, and I never got to like finish telling the story of how
it
that
branched
happened.
out a lot. But yeah, we started on talking about the wet napkin remix, I think, right?
Okay, yeah. So I entered the remix contest for Wait For Me. Chime liked my stuff. We started talking. He asked for like tracks for Rushdown. That's when I sent him Ensnared. And then, so we both got asked to remix Wet Napkin, and I had worked on mine and sent it to him. And he was like, hey, I haven't started mine yet since I've been really busy. You want to just collab on it? And I was like, sure, yeah, absolutely. But like in my head, I was of course freaking out because I was like, I'm collabing with one of my favorite artists. But that happened, and then he just kind of finished it up. I kept sending him different sound designs, some stems, and then that was that. We didn't make the official remix EP because Ray actually received like 30 to 40 different remixes, and he found it super hard to choose like 5 for the EP. So he just sent it to his management to do, and then they didn't pick ours, sadly.
Which is a shame, because yours is one of the best remixes I've heard out of all of them that I heard. I'm not being biased here, but honestly, like, I mean, the sound design and I agree. But honestly, the sound design and the whole direction that you decided to take with the remix was all very gorgeous and very intense. Which is something that I really appreciated, and is by far one of my favorite tracks, both from you and from Chime. So I'm really glad you guys made that.
You kind of touched on my sound design. I guess I could branch off on that a little bit. So, like, I don't know how many of you guys in the chat have listened to my music before, but my more recent style has been kind of a really big combination of, like, almost growly style sounds and chords. So, like, my sound design, like, I've heard people, of course, make like songs that have growls and chords in them, but I was like, hey, what if I like make really heavy sounds that are chords? So that's been kind of the direction I've been taking it. So I don't want to tell my exact process for making it yet until like people will recognize this sound as Ace Aura. So probably like a little bit in the future when I'm bigger. But it's a lot of, I don't know how to describe it. I'm making heavier sounds into chords in a way. That's all.
Yeah, which I noticed, because most of your most heavy sound design, most of that metallic kind of thing that most people use nowadays, is has that kind of bass characteristic, like the metallic kind of stuff, but it's also very, very melodic. Has some very like chord-like characteristics, which is always something that I found very peculiar and very like fitting of your style, because every time I hear a track that kind of associates that kind of melody with a metallic kind of bassy sound, I always associate it with Ace Aura nowadays. Even though you're not that big in the scene yet, you're breaking into the underground, which is really cool, and I feel like you deserve it a lot, and I associate that sound with you a lot already, and I feel like a lot of people do also feel that way, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Thank you.
No problem. Also, I feel like in a bit we should start taking in questions from people. So if you guys are in the chat, go ahead and ask any questions. I'm gonna keep asking some questions to Ace Aura, but if you guys have any questions or any interest in about his music, about his career, what kind of hardware and software he uses, anything at all, just go ahead and ask in chat, and we'll answer that. Also, hi Rob.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, wait, it's Rob Gasser.
It's Rob Gasser,
the one and only.
Yeah, it was really cool. I was playing with him. I was playing Minecraft with him yesterday till 6 a.m. whilst drunk. It was beautiful.
Wait, you guys play Minecraft?
I haven't played.
I'm gonna have to download it again.
Hell yeah, we haven't. Let's do this whole Minecraft resurgence between producers. Where's the...
All right, rush down Minecraft stream.
Hell yes. But yeah. Basic. Okay, so Flox asked a question. What DAW do you use?
What doll? Wait, where is that? I can't even see it in the chat.
He asked it probably scrolled up. It's official
Oh,
flops.
I see it. Okay.
What doll?
I use Ableton Live. So, I started producing in 2012, November, and I used Pro Tools because that's what I received as a gift with a MIDI keyboard from my parents. And I used that for about 4 years. And then I did a little bit more research and realized, hey, I am being limited a lot by using Pro Tools. And I looked into other options and I found Ableton. And I was like, this kind of works for my workflow because it's got a lot of different, like I like the way that it's just set up. So I bought Ableton in 2016 and have not looked back. I love Ableton a lot. Right now I use Live 10 Suite.
Hell yeah. Use the 10th one, right? Did you get it on a beta program or whatever?
Wait, what do you mean?
Because Ableton, the Live 10 has gotten like in the beginning they got like a beta program, and I know that's how a few of my friends got it. But you just bought
I did
it
go into the beta.
Okay.
I did both. So I used 9, and then I saw that there was a beta, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna apply for this, and then they accepted it, and I used the beta for a while, and then I just bought it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really
Ableton
fun.
Squad, what up? If anyone else has any other questions, just go ahead and ask it. But for now, I wanted to touch up on, for example, the artwork on your tracks for Rushdown, because I know they always have a lot of meaning on Rushdown specifically. I don't know if any of the artwork of yours has a lot of meaning, but I wanted to touch up, at least for now, on the artwork from Ensnared, and then we'll get to the artwork for your new EP. So, do you have any like explanation as to why the artwork is the way it is?
Yes, I do. So I'm not going to get too deep into the reason, like the inspiration for Ensnared, because it's kind of personal, and I don't want to share too much. And like, plus some of my friends might see this, and that would get super awkward, super fast. But I wrote Ensnared over the course of basically 2 days because I was very inspired to write it.
Ooh,
and I don't know if it was pretty fast. I don't know if I'd say I was depressed, but I was definitely struggling with something a lot because I had feelings of jealousy over a friend of mine as a result of something I did that I shouldn't have done, and I just felt trapped in it. And I'll go a little bit deeper into that. So I'm a Christian, if you guys don't know that. And one of the things, like I always pray, and some of the things that I've written down that I felt like God was telling me was to produce 30 minutes per night. That was around when I was in school, and I hadn't really been doing it. And then as I was struggling with this, I kind of looked back on that and I was like, you know what, I'm going to start writing some music. And so I started writing a track to basically express how I felt trapped in my situation and I just couldn't get out. Yeah. And I felt like I needed to write this. So I started writing Ensnared overnight. And then I think I stayed up until like 7 a.m. writing it in the first session. And I was like, wow, this is going pretty well. And then I finished it up the next day. And, but it was basically me calling out to God, telling him to free me from the things I was trapped in at the time. And after I wrote the song, I literally just felt like this sense of peace. Like I haven't had those jealous feelings for the friend anymore. We have a good relationship again.
That is really nice.
I don't think it's a coincidence. Yeah.
That is really nice though. I'm glad to know that music was able to kind of make that better for you. Because that is a really big thing that music always has. Okay, so does anyone have questions in chat?
Let's see.
I don't think so for now. So we're gonna wait for some questions to be asked. Whilst we do that, do you want to move on to the little treat that we have to show the people in chat?
Ooh, let's do that. Yeah.
Let's go ahead.
So are we on the same page with what the treat is?
It's that it's the F word, the proverbial F word, isn't it?
Okay, cool. Okay. So, as you guys know, my EP is coming out on tomorrow. It's coming out tomorrow. But so I have 4 tracks on there. I'll give away the titles because it's a day away and there's only 20 people here. First track is called Wandering. Second is called Mixed Signals. Third is called Intrusion. And the fourth is called Fabricator. And by far, Fabricator is my favorite track off the EP. It's almost like the same process for writing as ensnared. It's always like when I'm in a bad place and I just have to express something through music that I just write the best tracks. So, should I tell the story for Fabricator?
Sure, but before you do, I got a question from Shibuya. What got Eric into producing dubstep?
Ooh, okay. So, let's see. I was in 7th grade, and I was sitting at lunch, and my friend Steven was like, "Hey, Eric, listen to this song." And I was like, "Okay, Steven." And he showed me I think it was the Dirty Phonics remix of Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, "Whoa, this is really, really cool." And so I learned it was called dubstep, and then I searched it up on Pandora and started a station with like all these dubstep artists. I got into Zomboy, early Zomboy, Flux Pavilion, all those early dubstep guys. And I was like, you know what? I want to figure out how this is made because I've never heard anything like this before. So I did some research on like synthesizers and stuff. I bought Massive. I had Pro Tools at the time. And I just started messing around, not really knowing what I was doing. And eventually I figured stuff out and then continued making dubstep. That was in like 2012.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. I just read a comment that Alina said, "Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites is such a huge inspiration for so many producers." Whoa. I was mostly inspired by Bangarang more so than Scary Monsters, but yeah, because that was the first track I got exposed to by my best friend from Skrillex.
Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, the reason I love that song so much is because of like the growly sounds, of course. I was like, I've never heard this before, and this is the coolest thing ever. So
that is true. It is something you have never heard before, and then you just get exposed to it, and it's so unique. Really nice. But yeah, do you want to get into...
another?
Oh,
Found another question.
Yeah, how'd you come up with your producer name? I just saw it.
All right, I hate getting this question because it is the stupidest answer. Like there should be some big like reason behind the name. But I was in 8th grade and I was making music and I was like, hey, I need a name to put my music under. And I thought about it for a few minutes and I was like, Ace Aura sounds cool and it's alliterative, so I'm gonna do that. There's no meaning behind it.
Yeah, sometimes
like I really want to make one up.
I have made one up actually. There's all this thing behind my name where pretty much like I want to make music that appeals to like the whole world, and that's why I did it, and that's pretty much why I do it. I'm not lying when I say that, but the reason why like I want to paint the whole world with my music, and I'm not lying when I say that, but the real reason how I got my name was when back in the day when I got this name like 4 to 5 years ago, when I still didn't even have the alias Sekai. I just came up with it. I was literally just a weeb watching anime, and I just liked the way Sekai sounded and rolled with it.
Well, that works.
Stupid. But yeah, that's pretty much what happens. So not every name has to have this like huge deep meaning behind it. In fact, you can make your own meaning up, and that meaning can be the true one. Exactly.
That's cool.
Hey, shut up, Alina. You're the weeb. Anyways, how about we get into Fabricate? You want to tell the story behind it?
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, you guys can send questions. In fact, I just got one. So, but go ahead and tell it.
Okay. I'll answer the how old are you question first, real fast. I am 19. I'll be 20 in September. Cool. So Fabricator. That was an interesting story too. It's almost similar to Ensnared, but I was basically super stressed out because I was trying to think about too many things at once. Like I was trying to think about possible relationships in the future. I was trying to think about school. Trying to think about working on music and what I'm going to do about the transition between my career and school, if they interfere at all, if music will even work out at all. I was just trying to think about too much at once. Damn. And I was just kind of like frozen. And eventually there was one thing that just happened that kind of just set me off the edge, and it just kind of went crazy. And I called my friend and was kind of freaking out, and it took a while. He was just kind of silent on the other end. And I didn't realize until like a little bit after he started talking, but he was praying for me. And then he was like, he kind of realized that this is the devil trying to plant lies into my head. and that
Yeah.
there's a lot of things like about my situation that aren't bad, but I'm being deceived and kind of like lies were being planted in my head, and I was kind of going crazy as a result. And then that kind of made me realize what exactly was going on. And as soon as like we hung up the call, I was like, I gotta write a song about this. So I went back to my friends, like we were in a study room. I came back inside. I was like, okay, can I go in anyone's? This is like a really weird question, but I have my audio recorder. Can I go in anyone's car and record something? And they were just kind of looking at me weird, like, no. So eventually, I had to just like, this was at like 11 or 12 at night. So my friend was like, hey, I know this classroom in this one building that's usually empty. So I was like, I'm going there. So I ran to the classroom, and then that's where I recorded the vocal. And then I worked on that track all night, and then finished it like the next day. Like all of the tracks that I have that are really inspired, yeah, it's weird. But all the tracks that are really inspired like that usually get finished in like a day or two.
Yeah, I usually take like 2-3 days with those kinds of tracks, but then mixing and mastering, and I always take a lot more time than just 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, like the actual writing of the track.
Yeah, the actual writing is also very quick. I can agree with that.
Hey, you want to do something kind of spontaneous? So,
go for it.
All right. So I have the old version of Fabricator on my computer. It's about 8 bars long, and it's really bad. I'll send the old version, the 2 old versions, and then I'll send. You already have the new version.
I already have the new version. It's on screen right now. This one.
Okay. So yeah, Fabricator went through a lot of weird stages where I had the original idea, and then I was like, this kind of sounds like what I'm going for, but it could go better. And then I added more layers, and then it turned into what it is today. But yeah, I gave Fabricator to Chime not a few months ago, maybe a couple months ago. And I thought it was finished, and then I finished the rest of the tracks from my EP, and I listened back to Fabricator, and I was like, I really don't like this mix at all. So I kind of redid the mix, and then made the second drop a little bit different from the first, and then yeah.
So do you want me to play the progression of how the track sounds, kind of like this?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna turn on the audio on the stream, I guess. How much of a delay is there?
A few seconds, I think. It's not too big, but it's not like very small either.
All right, cool.
All right, we're gonna do this like that. We're just gonna pause it, and we're gonna play for the first 8 bars of Wanderer. Then we're gonna play the 16 bars, and then we're gonna play a bit of the final track. That's what we're gonna do. So let's go in 3, 2, 1. We're gonna play it. So yeah, the 8 bars of Fabricator sound it's quite repetitive, but it is an idea set in stone like that. Pretty much.
Yeah, it was just an idea.
Exactly. So the 16 bars, probably a lot more fleshed out. Let's take a listen. So with the 16 bars, I noticed that what you did here was made it has a bit less of a melodic feel to it, but it has a better production quality. Like it's more fleshed out in a way, has more details going into it. Okay, you lagged a lot, so you're gonna have to say that again, please.
Wait.
Okay, that was weird. Big oops! Oh no. I think Eric went kaput. Oh no, that's not good. Eric, Yeah, I think Eric's just gone. I feel like Eric, he transformed into a car. Oh no. Yeah, I know you have those issues. I'm just gonna play some music in the back. Whilst Eric tries to fix his little situation there.
Hello? Hello?
Oh,
Hello?
hi, you're there. You're there.
Okay, I know what happened. So my Wi-Fi goes out occasionally, and I just transferred to my phone. So I'm on my phone, but I can't see the stream currently.
That is fine. Hopefully the Wi-Fi comes back and you can come back to your computer.
Yeah, it'll come back in a few minutes. It's weird. So
yeah, go ahead.
what were you saying when I left?
I said something along the lines of that the track was more fleshed out, even though it wasn't as melodic as the first part of it.
Right. So like with that one, I had a more solid concept for where I wanted it to go as far as rhythm and like the whole feel of the track, rather than, so like when I started it out, I just kind of had the idea of melodic rhythm, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
But then I kind of went on to give it more of a heavier feel rather than a melodic feel, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense.
And then the third version, the final version, I kind of solidified that even more.
Okay, so would you like me to play like from the build up and a bit of the drop, right? Does
Sure.
that sound good? Okay.
That'll work.
So
I'll try to work on getting the stream back up on my computer.
I go for it, as I'm gonna play this for the listeners in the chat in 3, 2, 1. We're gonna pause it here because I don't want to spoil all of it.
Alrighty.
But damn.
Yeah, this is definitely my favorite track I've written so far.
That pre-drop was mad. What the hell was that?
So what I did for that was me saying, like, basically declaring that the lies of the devil are not going to control my life. So what it's saying is the fabricator's lies can't control me. And so what I did for the pre-drop is I had that vocal, and then I layered it with a vocoded version of the vocal, but it's just vocoded with white noise. And I kind of spread that to the sides. And then I had some kind of lower drones and kind of like time stretch sounds that made it sound kind of chopped up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I noticed it was like super massive and badass. I really liked
that. Yeah.
I also liked the little contrast that you did. First off, I played a bit of the second half of the drop, but I played most of the first drop, the first part. Basically, the first part, you really emphasized that heaviness going on, and you fleshed out the sounds a lot more, I can tell.
Yeah.
But then in that second part, you had this beautiful contrast between really heavyweight sounds and also metallic and fast-paced, but also melodic in a way. It almost sounded like an ARP was playing in a bass, and that was really cool. So
it actually almost is an ARP. So I'll give a little bit of insight into how I made that, because that's not really my signature sound.
Yeah.
But for that kind of chopped up triplet kind of thing after the big metallic part. So what I did with that is it was made in Serum, I believe, and it was mostly FM, of course. But what I did for that is I had an LFO that had steps that were in triplets. So I had like 6 steps that would repeat. And basically the steps would go through different amounts of FM and maybe even different pitches on like the second oscillator. But that's what I did for that.
That is really cool. Damn.
Yeah. I love FM and any kind of like metallic or melodic sounds.
Yeah, really, it is something I dabble into when I try to make sound design. When I try, I dabble a lot into FM and stuff like that. And I usually do keep it simple, but you went all out, which is really cool.
I like sound design.
I try. Let's just say that. Because I'm a whore, I do have to ask you this question. What's your favorite song from Sekai?
Oh, okay. Let's see. So
Theosis asked it, and I'm like, fine.
Let me see. It's gotta be one from your last EP because I've been listening to that a lot and I love it, dude. It was the drum and bass one at the end. I forgot what it was called.
Oh, the one with my girlfriend Alina. Rain.
Yes, that one.
I love that. Super proud of that one. It was a pain to mix, but it was so good.
Yes.
Like to work with it, and I got to work with the lovely one.
Yeah, that one is my favorite, and then my second favorite of yours is Kansas.
Thank you so much. Alina. But speaking of Alina, she asked, "What song did you recently have stuck in your head? Because you played it over and over, because you played it over and over in the past month."
Ooh.
Have you had any songs stuck in your head?
Oh, absolutely. So, let's see. It's not even a month old, but Mastodon's new EP is absolutely stellar.
It is
Dong
fantastic.
by Mastodon is stuck in my head.
That is Dong by Mastodon is really good.
I want to hear that live so bad.
I have heard that Dong's actually not my favorite one from the EP. There was the first one that came out that he reviewed. Machete is amazing, yeah.
Yeah, that one's good too.
Oh, hi Troy. Nice to see similar outskirts in chat.
Ooh, hello.
But yeah, there's I have to say that the track that for me to answer that question as well, because I do have a track really wedged in my head, is one that recently came out on Liquidity called Our Drive by Itro. It's on an EP with 3 people. And there's 4 tracks, so there's 1 track by each person and then a track that's like the 3 people collabing. And the one from Itro is like one of my favorite tracks I've ever heard. So yeah,
I'll have to check that out.
It is really good.
Oh yeah, just a heads up. If my Wi-Fi does go out again, what I'll do is just transfer it to my phone real fast and like use data like I did before. But now I'm prepared.
Sick. Preparations. Okay, so people are asking, and I'm gonna put this on the table because you're amazing. So A Sara and Sekai collab when?
Soon.
Soon.
We gotta do it.
We should do it. Hell yeah. We would start in this stream, but we don't have anything prepared, so we gotta come up with ideas.
Yeah, we haven't started anything yet, and my computer, I could not really run any kind of streaming software and my DAW at once, or else my computer would just poop itself.
So yeah, so that's fine. At one point we'll figure stuff out. We'll start a little collab, put it on Rushdown or anywhere else. Like that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! So here you have listened here first, guys. Sekai and Asora confirmed.
It's happening.
Chime's already saying then release the collab on Rushdown.
I'm down.
I'm down. Yeah.
I didn't realize he was still here.
Silly Chime. But yeah, that would be really cool working with you. Okay, so something that I wanted to touch on is the artwork. As always, Chime did it for every single Rushdown track, and I happen to know that you are the first track on Rushdown, and in fact in every single artwork that Harvey did, that uses an actual portrait picture of a person, in this case you. So
yes, that's me.
So do you want to go ahead and then tell us a bit of the meaning behind that artwork?
Sure. I mean, so the artwork really, it's not too big of a meaning compared to Ensnared. But just the concept I had in my head while I was listening to the music I made for the EP, the colors that came to mind were purple and red. And I was like, hey, Harvey, can you make it purple and red themed? But, oh yeah, so I guess there is a bit more to it. So it almost looks like a galaxy around me, sort of. And
Yeah,
that's kind of symbolic because like the whole concept of the EP, of course, is like, it's called Guided Wandering. And it's about my relationship with God and how that's kind of been a really long journey. And it's been crazier than I would have ever imagined.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wanted to make it outer space themed because it's like out of this world sort of thing. And that's what the galaxy kind of symbolizes. And I guess the eyes, that was Harvey's idea, but that was a really good idea because that's what I had envisioned. I just didn't say it.
The woke eyes.
The woke eyes, yes. But that was kind of, I guess because it kind of symbolizes a moment of awakening within my own life where I kind of realized a lot of different, like I guess I kind of matured a lot more over the writing process of this EP.
Yeah. And I can tell, like, from this track, it's the production quality and everything else, like the maturity that you have shown in the tracks that I've heard so far is quite spectacular. So
yeah,
I commend you on that.
I honestly don't know what happened production quality wise, because like it was weird. The old version of Fabricator that I wrote like a month-ish ago was like the mix down was really, really bad like in comparison to this one, and I don't really know where I got the skills to improve it that much.
It always happens. I do notice that it always happens with due time. Like as long as you work, and it also depends on the feedback that you get. You start learning other things, even by yourself, as you work and listen more to your tracks, and you just get a better understanding of what you should do here and there, which is really cool.
Yeah, reference tracks are a very good idea too. So, for example, for Fabricator, I guess it's not really completely similar. But my reference for that was Knuckle Sandwich by Badclat, because I wanted that kind of the big bass sound, and I was trying to compare it mostly for loudness purposes. Yeah. But that's what I use mostly. Reference tracks are your friend.
Reference tracks are very useful. I've come to notice. I've used some Flux Pavilion tracks for my old dubstep stuff, which is really useful. There was something I was gonna touch on about the EP, but if you guys don't know, for the ones that have joined, one of the tracks from his EP is gonna premiere on Your EDM quite soon. I think like an hour from now, right?
An hour-ish, yeah, pretty soon.
An hour-ish from now. So you guys, as soon as this stream's over, or just when it comes out, guys should definitely go over and check the premiere of the track. It's gonna be really cool to check. Yeah.
This is exclusive information. I haven't even announced this on my socials yet.
Yeah, there's also another piece of exclusive information that I think we can go ahead. We've been talking about the track Fabricator here a bit, but something that you guys should know is that Azor is planning on kind of breaking down a bit each track on his YouTube channel, right?
Correct, yes.
So you guys should definitely go and check out his YouTube channel. Can you actually link it to me? I'm not very prepared with links. So
yeah, I haven't used my YouTube channel in a pretty long time. I did vlogs and I was trying to be consistent with it, but it just didn't stick. But what I plan to do for this EP is maybe like release a video a week over the span of, I guess, a month, because it'll be 4 weeks. But just describing. Wait. How do I get the link for my channel?
That is fine. Take your time.
Where is the... Oh, here it is.
All right.
Okay.
And also, if anyone of you wants to check out Ace Aurus's little SoundCloud, you guys can go ahead and follow him here.
Yeah, also, SoundCloud is my main source of where I post my stuff. But, oh yeah, I was saying, YouTube, I did vlogs for a little bit, it didn't stick. But what I plan to do with this EP is over the course of a month, 4 weeks, each week I will kind of break down a track and described the inspiration behind it and the different elements in it that kind of encapsulated what I was trying to convey within each track. So
Yeah.
hopefully I'll get that done sometime soon.
Sick. All right. So does anyone else have questions for Asora?
I saw a few similar outskirts asked, why didn't you use the other
I
photo
saw
you
that.
took? Obvious
I think
reasons.
I remember. I think I remember what the other photo was, but I don't have it.
I'm gonna get the
once.
tweet.
Please do.
Should I send it in the chat or
You
send
can't
it to you?
send it to me and I'll send it in chat because
Okay.
like I blocked links. Except for Mazin. Oh, this one is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, also another question while I send that tweet out. How do you deal with zero inspiration sometimes?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Okay, so this is something I still struggle with pretty continuously. So like recently, I haven't been able to write as much just because I haven't felt like I have as much to write about. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But when I have those moments, sometimes what works is just like forcing myself to sit down and start writing down ideas. And then maybe eventually something will happen. But that doesn't always work with my process, because usually when I write a track, it's trying to convey something I've already felt. But so instead of doing that, sometimes I just work on sound design. And I think that's the best thing to do whenever you don't have like inspiration to write a track.
Yeah. So, oh, okay. I got another question, but we already answered that one. What's the meaning behind
I see it.
Ensnared?
Okay, I'll re-explain it for anyone that's new here. So Ensnared was a track that I wrote, I guess it was either January or February of this year. And I was writing it basically out of a place of desperation because I won't go into too much detail because it's kind of personal, but I made a mistake. And as a result, I had feelings of jealousy for one of my friends. And it was just kind of controlling me, and I did not want to have those feelings all the time. And I was basically praying, like, I don't want this. God, please deliver me from this. And I was like, I'm going to write a song about this because I felt like that would be the best way to express it. And so I finished Ensnared over the course of like 2 days. And after I finished the track, I instantly felt at peace. Like I can't really explain it any other way than it was God. But yeah, usually most of my music is expressing something that I have no way to express in words, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Which is something, as I said before, it's always really cool to have that.
Yeah, I feel like, especially within EDM, there's not enough of tracks that are actually inspired by something, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a time and a place for like showing off cool sound design and just making bangers, but I feel like there's something special when you're making a really heavy track that is actually trying to express something rather than just making sounds because it sounds cool, if that makes sense. There's something real behind it.
Very true. Anyways, if anyone else has questions, go ahead and ask them. But I feel like for now, while you guys ask your questions, I'm going ahead and set up a raffle for the feedbacks. How do you feel about that?
Yeehaw!
Should feedback some people from the stream. If you have tracks, we are both going to feedback it. Listen to it live and feedbacking it.
How do you think this is going to work with the delay of the stream? So are you going to like send me the link of the track that's chosen, or?
Yeah, that's what we're going to have to do. Infaller asks, will you check out my SoundCloud?
Possibly.
It's a possibility, stinky whore.
That is a maybe.
If you win the raffle. But yeah, so raffle's set up right now. If you guys have any track that you want feedback on, how does the raffle thing work? You type raffle in chat and you will be entered into the raffle thing. Have you tried Watch Together? Yes, but it doesn't work with private links. So not with private SoundCloud links. Works with YouTube, not with SoundCloud.
Dang.
But yeah, you guys can go ahead and type raffle in chat, and I will be able to check your tracks live.
Wow. Is it just raffle or is it exclamation point?
No,
raffle?
just raffle, because it's
Okay.
it's well, you can type exclamation mark raffle if you want, but you don't really have to.
Okay.
It's just raffle.
Cool.
Okay, another question while people are raffling. Did the DAW ever intimidate you when you first started? Because I tried to start with LMMS, but I'm so intimidated.
So I don't know what LMMS is, but
I've heard of that.
I don't think you were here when I first answered, but the DAW I first used was Pro Tools, and that took a long time to learn because Pro Tools is not made for electronic music. So there were a lot of like hoops you had to go through in order to get a VS. Well, you couldn't get VSTs in there. That was another problem. But to get a plugin like a synthesizer, you had to go through a lot of different processes to get it set up, and it was just a pain. But it did intimidate me when I started. And then I switched to Ableton about 2 years ago, and that was a little bit hard to learn. But over, I guess, a little after a month of watching tutorials and stuff like that, I figured out how to use Ableton, and I like it a lot.
Sick. Yeah.
But to answer your question, yes, it is intimidating at first, but once you learn it, it's second nature.
Great answer. Yeah. Anyways, how about we roll it? If everyone's already raffled in, we're just gonna go ahead and roll it in 3, 2, 1. So Shido Mujik has won the raffle. So if you want your track feedback, go ahead and send your track in chat. Don't worry, you're not a mod, so link will be deleted, and no one is going to be able to see it if it is a private link.
I see another question. What do you like about Ableton?
What about Ableton? I saw that.
So Ableton is definitely the DAW of choice for me because it just works with my workflow. Because like it's good for sound design where you can have a bunch of different modules sequence. You have like the audio racks where you can split things up and it's still easy to manage. But
True.
I just like Ableton because there are a lot of different options for how you can work, and I can use it for sequencing a track or just sound design by linking a lot of different tracks together and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, so we got the Shido's link, so I'm gonna send it to you real quick. There you go. It's also a public link, I think, so we don't have to worry about hiding it, but there you go.
Neat.
It's Loneliness
So we're just
by
gonna like,
Shido.
are we gonna like click play on 3 or how's this gonna work?
3, 2, 1, play. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the only way you can do it. But yeah, let's give it a pause to the kawaii music and play this track in 3, 2, 1. Okay.
All right.
Oh, it has some interesting ideas, but I feel like I have quite a bit to say about this track.
Okay, you go first.
All right. So some of the you have this kind of like melodic break after that intro, and you have some sample usages that would usually be more used in heavier drops. You use them throughout that melodic section, which is fine. It needs variation and stuff, but I feel like they are a bit unnecessary in a way. As the way I mean this is because the samples sound kind of, they don't really fit in context. There are some samples that are either off key with the overall song, or they're just like they don't really fit or aren't very well mixed in. Some samples are a bit too wet and reverby and don't really work with the song itself. The mix is overall quite messy and a bit muddy, especially in the low mids regions. I feel like it needs a lot of cleaning up. The chords need a lot more brightness, and they need to feel a bit more shiny and melodic instead of so dirty in that kind of low area. Also, the chords are off key with the sub. They seem to be fine with themselves, but there are some off notes, especially like in the sub end where it doesn't really match with the key that the chord's in. So yeah, I don't feel like I feel like you should either, you know, if you can't really have a good perception on how melody is supposed to work in your head, you should definitely get into a bit of music theory and try to figure out what's wrong with the progression. I feel the way you constructed your song, I also felt like that melodic part after the intro was a break, and then it was gonna build up into a heavy drop, but it just went straight into the heavy drop, meaning that part, that melodic break was actually a drop, a part of the drop.
Yeah.
Which it didn't feel like. It didn't feel like there was enough build up, and there wasn't a build up in between the melody and the bass part, so it felt a bit weird to me that it just transitioned like that. Also, your basses overall sound a bit messy. They don't feel like they're structured in a way that that they should be. Pretty much, you use all these basses, and the filtering that you use in them, the processing that you use in them for the mixing and all that stuff needs quite a bit of work overall. And something that I've noticed in over here in the, like, after the drop, you start building these plucks, and every time the pluck hits, there's also like this little sub frequency stab in the background that is really bugging me. So if there's something that you have there that isn't high passed, it should be high passed. I don't know what it is, but you should check into that. Also, Harbor Spirit, thanks for the follow, man. And also, there's an offbeat that you have an offbeat that around here needs to be turned up one semitone because it's off key with the drop. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. It just needs quite a bit of work overall. You'll get there though. Like, it's just it amounts to practice and all that. Do you have anything to add, Eric?
Basically, no. You covered almost everything. I guess the one thing I would add is I like the general feel you were trying to create with it. I think it came across pretty well overall, but there were like a few things that were kind of distracting, like in the mix and the off-key things in the drop. But the one other thing I wanted to mention was within the drops, like I like the sound design that you used, but I think you might have used too many different sounds. It was enough to where it was too much to where I couldn't really focus on, like I couldn't find something to focus on. There was just like too much going on.
Yeah.
So rather than trying to fill a drop with as many sounds as you possibly can, try to lean more towards using only like maybe 2 or 3 main sounds, but making them more interesting on their own, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Because the amount of filtered sounds that you used they're fine, but there's a lot of them. Yeah, I can see what you mean. And it feels like you didn't focus too well enough in each of them to make them stand out well.
Right.
But yeah, is that all?
Yeah, that's all I had.
Then
good track.
Yeah, it is a fine track. It has some fine ideas. But one of my main criticisms about it was the little sample usage could be a bit better. But yeah, and also the mixing overall. Anyways, guys, time for raffle number 2. Go ahead and type raffle in chat if you want to be a feedback live. Also, may I mention, because I have to do this every stream, may I mention, have you guys ever heard about Twitch Prime? With Twitch Prime, you can sub for free by trying out Twitch Prime, or if you have a Twitch Prime account, you can you can pretty much subscribe for free each month to your favorite Twitch channels. If it would be me, I'd be very grateful.
I'm using my Twitch Prime on you.
Oh, thank you.
I've been holding it.
Hey, oh my god, 2 subs in a row. Hey, Sarah and Punker, thank you for subbing so much. But yeah, speaking of the
give him a cup of tea.
There they come. Here's a cup of tea for y'all. Another thing about Twitch Prime is about subbing to this is that if you do sub, you get 3 times the chance of winning the raffles every time there's this feedback going on. Anyways, yeah, now that that's plugged, let's go ahead and roll it, shall we?
Yeet!
Let's go in 3, 2, 1.
Zoom.
Simple Void! Subscriber luck, see what I said? See what I mean? Go ahead and send us your track in chat, Simple Void. There you go, we got it. It's very correctly titled track. Oh shit, I pasted the wrong link. There you go. There you go.
Alright.
It is called track. Pretty much.
Wow.
Very befitting of the name. Because it is a
good
track.
name.
Anyways, let's
started this 1 hour ago. Very muddy and bad mix at the moment. Drums are also not perfect.
Okay, now that we got our little, well, we got the work done for ourselves, right? So you just gotta listen to it. Alright, let's go. In 3, 2, 1. That's a funny beginning.
Baseline.
Sounds very old school with the whole phasing.
Yeah, I like this.
It is quite vibey. Not gonna lie.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I don't have much to say besides, you did say that the mixing was kind of bad, which I feel like the mixing can be better. It's not horrible, but it can be better. The drums are fine, although I do recommend having those percussive elements kind of more in the background stand out a bit more, because drum and bass is very focused on drums and percussion, and having more of it would be having a bit more focus on it would be cool. In the beginning, this intro that you have this percussive loop going on. I feel like if you added more silly percussion, it would be even funnier. I don't know. I just feel like it would be cool.
I did like the vocal you added in there. I know you said it's not mixed yet, but I would definitely increase the volume of the vocal so you can hear it better.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, and also that the phaser, even though cool, may be a bit overkill, so maybe tone down just a bit on the phaser. Well, other than that, I feel like it's really cool. It's a really nice idea, a really funny one. It sounds like one of those like really old school tracks that you used to hear. It's cool on TV mostly. It's nice. Good job, man. Anyways, do you have anything else to add, or is that just it?
Not really. I liked the feel of it, and maybe the snare. It didn't sound very drum and bassy to me. I mean, I don't listen to drum and bass all that much, but that's the only thing that really stuck out.
Oh, Simple Void says I didn't have a phaser at all. It's the vocals. Okay, then that's understandable.
Oh.
But you definitely should turn them up a bit. Anyways,
crank that
shit up. Let's go and set up the next raffle, and it is set up. Go ahead, guys, and type raffle in chat if you want your track feedback live. Let's go. It's fine, and VR. Just don't post links if you don't win the raffle. I'm sorry about that. Hey, similar outskirts, you're stinky. He's calling us stinky.
He did not just call me stinky.
I don't appreciate that.
I think he's the stinky boy, actually.
You smell.
He just hit us with a no you.
Oh, I like how Punker just says no I. Thanks for defending us.
Stinky fight in chat.
Everyone in chat type similar outskirts is stinky. But yeah, is everyone raffled? Let's give it a bit more time. While we're raffling, you guys can keep asking questions, and me and Mr. Ace Ara will answer.
Oh yeah, that's a thing we're doing too.
That is also a thing we're doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, if everyone's raffled, we can go ahead and do a do, and we'll roll it in 3, 2, 1. Oh, nice question from Catastrophe. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. The only thing that's been weird lately is my sleeping, because I have a pretty consistent schedule. I'm going to bed around midnight, but my body decides to wake me up at 5:30, and I can't go back to sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm a little tiny bit sleep deprived, but other than that, I'm doing A-okay.
Oh, here's a good question. What gave you guys the biggest exposure following during your early times? I'm just gonna go ahead and say NCS, but yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, so for me, I really did not gain a following very fast. So, it's been increasing pretty exponentially. I'm almost at 2,800 on my SoundCloud right now, but I've been producing under the Ace Aura alias for almost 6 years, since November of 2012. And so it took me 5 years to get my first 1,000 subs. And then to get to 2,000 took me 8 more months after that. And then almost 2 months later, I'm almost at 3K. So
that is really cool.
Following does not increase linearly.
Yeah. It's a steady climb.
To answer the question directly, the thing that helped me was getting second place in Chime's Wait For Me remix competition. Because that kind of showed him, hey, this guy exists. But my advice would be definitely enter as many remix competitions as you possibly can, and do not give up. That is the number one.
That's a good advice. But yeah, let's roll that. In 3, 2, 1. Mason, you have won. Go ahead and send your track in chat, and we'll feedback it.
Yeehaw!
Skirt, skirt. Let's go. Congrats, Mason. Go for it. Okay. If Nightbot would be so kind as to load the link, or else I'm gonna have to get it in chat. Which is what I might have to do anyways, so screw it. But yeah, keep them questions coming. We're always watching chat, so don't worry.
Yes.
I'm gonna load in this. It is called Stuck by Mason. Official. I'm gonna send it to you. Oh, I wonder whose track is this in the background. Let me stop being a bit of a whore. Alright, we got it, Mason, don't worry. Okay, so let's give it a pause and we're gonna play it. Are you ready? Oh, Jesus Christ, Alina, please don't spam. I feel like, yeah, I feel like, Asara just went kaput again, so we're gonna keep the music going for now. And then we'll feedback the track. Big rip.
Did a poopy.
Yeah, noticed.
Okay, so I don't know how I'm gonna listen to the track.
Yeah, we can wait for a bit whilst the thing loads up.
Okay.
Well, in the meantime, go ahead and send your questions while we wait to feedback this track.
You'll have to read them out though, because I can't see them yet. I'll let you know when my Wi-Fi comes back.
Yeah, Asara music, get better internet.
Yes, I wish. Like, if I had the money to pay for my own internet, I definitely would. But I don't, because I'm in school.
Yeah, that's understandable. God damn it. Harvest Spirit, how much money to override the raffle? Well, you'll have a better chance if you subscribe.
So $5 a month.
So $5 a month. Pretty much.
I kind of like switching to my phone because now I can walk around a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. Lightshard asks, favorite 3 VSTs?
So VSTs. Okay, I'll stick with VSTs because Ableton effects would be a bit different. But VSTs, I'd have to go with Theorem, FM8.
FM8. Okay, yeah. I never used FM8. Sadly.
It's really fun for, well, FM. I'm trying to think of my third one. I don't really use many VSTs all that much. Oh, there's a free VST called Clip Shifter, and that's what I use to master now. I used to use Ozone, but then I realized, why am I just like compressing my songs instead of just clipping the heck out of them because I want to get them louder? So Clip Shifter is a free clipping VST that I use to master rather than a limiter.
Yeah, that is that actually I never really thought of that. That is a
It makes your tracks fat.
Makes your tracks fat. I'm mostly, well, I use Ozone because I do compress my tracks and stuff, but I also add the saturation and stuff like actual, like, you know, clipping but with control.
Right, yeah.
Rob Gasser says I got Cliff Shifter after Eric recommended it. Is it that good? I'm actually gonna try it out.
Yeah, it's literally just a free clipper. So you like put it on your master and then you just crank the input gain, and it's pretty, like, it clips the track, but it's pretty transparent. Like, it won't distort unless you're doing something super crazy. Like, I can get my tracks to like between -2 and -1 RMS without it sounding really, really bad.
That is really nice, actually. Damn.
Yes.
I'm not.
But
I have been actually compressing my tracks less and less over time. But
less.
Yeah. Why compress it more if it's just gonna destroy the track itself? Why not just why not just make it less compressible? And if people want to hear it, like, normalization's a thing, it's just gonna play loud anyways.
Oh, computer is back. I'm going to do a quick swap.
Go for it. I'm swapping. Okay, I see your question, Light Shard. I'm gonna. Did you?
Am I audible?
You are audible. Welcome
I'm
back.
back.
Okay, so
Thank you.
before we go and listen, let me just go. Have you ever used FreeClip? It's also really clean and it has like 16 or 32 times oversampling max.
Oh, I have not. It's called Free Clip.
FreeClip, yeah,
Is it all like one word? I'm gonna Google it
yeah, one word.
just so I have it open. Okay, I'll look it up later.
All right, so let's go ahead and listen to this track, shall we? Sam,
Yes.
Stuck on You, Mason remix. About time. Let's go in 3, 2, 1.
Stuck on you. Stuck on you. Stuck on you. In the flight, you get that call. Come up on you. I wanna do you better, but I think on you too. I'm stuck on you. I'm stuck on you. Stuck on you.
Ooh,
Stuck on you. 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 In the flight, you get that call. Come up on you. I wanna do you better, but I think on you too. I'm stuck on you. I'm stuck on you. Stuck on you.
Oi, give him a cup of tea.
Thanks for the song.
Stuck on you. Stuck on you. Stuck on you. Stuck on you.
neat.
This is quite interesting. I do have
Yeah.
a few things to say, but it's a very smooth track. I do like the way you laid out your 808s. Like the melody's also really nice. The way the whole track's structured and laid out, you seem to know what you're doing composition-wise. Really, really nice.
Mm-hmm. Should I go first or you?
This time you should go first. Why not?
All right. So I first would like to say I love the percussion panning. That was super cool.
Mhm.
I like that effect a lot. There were a few sections that I felt were kind of weird. So there was one at about 1 minute 20 seconds, and then the same kind of mirrored section at 3 minutes after the drop, where it was kind of like cooling down from the drop, but it just kind of felt like it was missing something.
Yeah, it's
So
quite.
what I would
empty,
do, yeah, I would try to connect those two parts and put some sort of like, not necessarily a melody, but some sort of interesting thing that's kind of dying down in those sections, so it's not just an empty section. And what was the other thing? There was something specific I wanted to.
Get
I don't remember. There were 3 things in my head, and I said 2 of them.
Don't worry, man.
I don't
Take
remember.
your time.
You can go first.
Okay,
You can go
okay.
next.
So, in my opinion, the vocals could have a bit more processing. Like, for example, delay would be a really good one, and a tiny bit more reverb on them, because I feel like they are processed correctly, but not enough. Like, they don't drag and they don't fill space too well because they are so just dry in a way. Like, they don't drag on or anything.
I remember it now.
Go ahead then.
Okay, so in the drops, I don't remember if it was the first and second, but I specifically remember hearing it in the first. The lead sound you have in the drop, I feel like it doesn't have enough high end. It feels kind of dull.
Yeah.
So I do something to brighten that up, and that was it. Otherwise, I loved it.
I was gonna touch on that. The next, like, lead could use. Well, first off, lead could use a catchier melody, I feel, and also I feel like, yes, like SR said, you should make it brighter, and there's 2 ways you could do that. First off, you could EQ some of those low end, that low end body of the lead a bit, like cut a few parts of it and make it brighter, just with an EQ. But the best solution was to kind of layer it with a few more things. Bells would be a cool idea, something a bit bright and shiny to layer with the lead going on. Because I hear this kind of stuff. It reminds me a lot of like the Bitbird style, whereas everything's like very organic, and this is sounds very synthesized and not bright enough to feel that organic. So if you had more layers in that lead, it would feel a lot better, I in my opinion. Something also in the second drop, something that could use a bit more brightness is the chords, because they are very thin, so they need more layers, and they also need to be brighter in the high end. I feel like they are just a bit too muddy. Also, when the lead goes off, and that like how Asaurus said, one of my suggestions when there was that empty part, like it was missing something, one of my suggestions was use the vocals to your advantage and use like a lot of delay to make the vocals drag on through that empty part, and maybe add like something minimal, doing like chords or like an offbeat in the background, just to fill that up. It overall needs more details and more bits and bobs, like little pieces. Like this feels like a song that was written and composed completely, like structure wise, but it feels like it lacks some sort of details just here and there, details that keeps you interested and pulls you in. I feel like that's all I have to say about this song.
Yeah, good track.
It was a good track though. I really loved it. I loved how you did the way the 808s pretty much went on with the lead. Like everything fit very well. I wasn't expecting something like this, and it was really cool. But yeah, let's go ahead and do another stinky raffle, shall we? So let's go ahead and set it up. Also, may I remind you that if you scroll down on the About Me section, there's a Discord page that you can join, Discord channel server thing. We always have an after party in there. So if you want to hang out with us in general chat after the stream's done, you can go ahead and join it, and it would be cool to have you over. But yeah, go ahead and type raffle in chat. Raffle's open, so you can be feedback live.
live and in person.
Heck yes.
Well,
And
I
in
guess it's not
person.
in person.
Not really in
'cause it's
person, is
over
it?
the internet. Yeah, never mind. It's just live.
Alright, we got them raffles coming in. Keep them coming, boys. And if you
Rob
have
has
any...
entered every raffle.
Exactly, and if you have any more questions for Eric, go ahead and ask him.
Hey, that's me.
That is you.
It's me,
It's me.
Mario.
Ace Aura.
It's me, Eric. You're saying you won't come to my house to give feedback.
I just saw
So,
that.
I don't think so. That's a bit expensive to buy a plane ticket to give you a couple minutes of feedback.
Exactly, isn't it? All right, let's roll this. If everyone's rolled in, let's go. Roll it in 3, 2, 1. Oh boy, it's in Fowler. I wonder.
Ooh!
Jesus Christ. Go ahead and link your chat. Rigged. Go ahead and link your track. Track I'm sending is a few months old, so rip it apart with feedback. Alright, go for it. Oh, it's public as well. Okay. Oh, I just realized Diamond
It stayed in the chat.
Yeah, it stayed in the chat because he's a mod.
Oh.
Alright, Vibrant by In Flower. I'm always gonna tease him for that. Let's go ahead and listen to it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Sounds sexy.
I agree.
I can guarantee you, Harvey, his new stuff's way better. Oof, the little piano things in the end.
Ooh.
Okay.
I like that ending.
I do, yeah, same. I do have a few things to say, but overall, Melody's really good. It's a really interesting track. Like interesting. It's yeah, as Chime said, it's something that we've all heard, but it's done pretty nicely, I'd say. Like the melody's really cool and stuff. I do have to say, the mix is a bit too muddy overall, especially in the drops, where it feels like the chords and lead should stand out and be a lot louder, whilst the subs just too present. Those sub and low frequencies are too present. They make the mix a bit muddy. Also, the lead does need to stand out a lot more. It needs to be louder. The kick that you use, in my opinion, is a bit too boomy. Probably because you might have EQ'd it, because since the whole mix is a bit muddy, maybe you EQ'd it to be a bit muddy as well. I don't know. In that middle break over here, it's a really chill section, but it feels like it needs a lot more going on. Like I would suggest plucks or a music box, something like that. It's very empty. And also, build up to the second drop here in this part feels way too empty. Like it could use a lot more rising stuff and stuff like that. It just feels a bit too empty. Other than that, I just feel like details. Nothing too much about it. It's a good track, anyways. Do you have anything to add? Ace?
Yeah, a couple things. This is making me realize how inexperienced I am at giving like detailed feedback, because I've never done this before.
That
and I'm
is
like
totally
listening
fine.
to the things you're saying that are so detailed, and I'm just like,
Before
I
started streaming, I was kind of not as detailed with feedback either, so don't worry about that.
Mhm.
You kind of get used to it over time.
That's good to know. But there are like two main things for me. The first was that quiet section. I think you kind of touched on this. Right in the middle, you can kind of see it in the waveform right before the second
yeah,
drop.
The
It's
chill section.
yeah, it's too quiet. Like I don't want to like. So
The track's
I'm
kinda
not
quiet
trying to
overall,
be.
I'd say.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be super Mr. Loudness War, but the difference between the drops and the quiet sections, I think, might be a bit too much. Because if you're listening to the beginning of the track, I'm just trying to imagine like someone would be listening to the beginning and then try to turn it up and then realize that the drop is way louder than the beginning, and then that would hurt their ears. But I think there's a bit too much of a difference between those sections in volume. And dang it, I did it again. The second thing is gone. Oh yeah, just like Harvey said, it's good, like it's well made, but there's not really anything that would distinguish it as being yours, if that makes sense.
That is true.
It sounds kind of like a lot of other melodic dubstep songs, or I guess it's not dubstep as the tempo, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's quite fair.
Yeah, but that was it. I liked it overall.
Is it? Yeah, it's a good track overall. It's also an old track. He has some better stuff coming up. I listened.
Yeah, I'll listen through after this stream.
Hell yeah. So let's go ahead and put the Weeb music back on. And then we're going to set up another raffle, shall we?
Yeah, we shall.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Raffle. Type raffle in chat and you'll be able to get your tracks listened from me and Mr. Asara live right now. And get yourself some feedbacks.
But not in person.
But not in person. Yes, because we're not going to fly over. Be quite expensive.
Oh, someone asked me a while back, what monitors do you use?
Oh,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
I don't use my monitors all that much. I have M Audio BX5As for monitors on my desk, and I have a sub as well. It's an SBX10 by M Audio, but I don't really use those that much. I mostly just use my headphones, which are I think they're Audio Technica M50Xs.
Yeah.
But I love these
The
headphones.
same ones as what I use right here.
They're the best.
They are really good, honestly. I wanted to get the M70Xs, but the M70s, but like I was too late. Is Asara doing a Q&A while doing raffle? Yes, he is. So you guys can go ahead and type raffle, and you can also ask a question to Asara.
That's me.
That's him. So keep them coming, guys.
Trying to scroll up, see if there's anything else.
Well, Similar Artist Kurtz asked, I'm at Costco, do you want anything? I would like some Pringles right now. So yeah,
Do you mind if I run to the restroom real fast?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Whilst you do that, I'm who is Ace Aura? He's a producer.
That's me. I'm Ace War.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll it and get the track, and while you go, and then we'll answer this one question that I just got, and we do it. Alright, go for it. Go for it.
Bye bye.
Alright, so let's go ahead and roll it right now. Someone, no, hold it in. Yay, he has needs, okay? Okay, let's go ahead and roll it in 3, 2, 1. Zeppy? I don't know how to pronounce your name, but you won. Go ahead and send your track in chat. There you go. We got it. So we're gonna wait for Asara to come back, and then he's gonna answer one of the questions that was in chat, which is, can you go a bit more into detail about why Ableton sounded interesting? But yeah, he's gonna answer that question after, and then yeah. If this got out of my way. Yeah, wait, I just realized you said something, Chime, and I didn't see it. You better do one of these with Similar Outskirts too. Hey, I'll be down whenever he has anything to promote and stuff. I'd also be down to do one with you, Chime, if you ever are free.
That would be neat.
I do want to make it with people, with a lot of people. I want to have Chime in. I'm gonna try to get Panda Eyes next week. I want to get Similar Outskirts because he'd be cool to have over. I want to have Rob Gasser. I already told him I wanted him to have him over. I'm gonna try to get Cynthia on as well. I have a lot of people lined up.
Cool. Wait, so should I answer this question?
Yeah, go ahead and answer it. I was just.
So the question was, can you get a bit more into detail about why Ableton sounded interesting? Exactly. So the reason I like Ableton the most is because of the ways that you can very quickly and easily mangle audio and make it into something else. Because back when I used Pro Tools, I didn't really resample all that much. It was just all MIDI. And actually, even after I had Ableton for a while, I didn't resample much. But my sound design process lately has been a lot of recording things and tweaking like the synth as it's recording, and then kind of chopping it up and sequencing it within the DAW rather than just making everything with MIDI. Because like sometimes I do like to have an idea in mind where I want to make something very specific, so I make it. But also, I feel like randomness is a very overlooked, really cool thing in creativity, where you can create things with a randomness that you couldn't have really made if you were trying to do it yourself, because you like stumble upon things. So I like Ableton for that reason too, the easy resampling and stuff.
That is true. There's a few things that Ableton has that I would love to have on FL, but alas, I work better with FL, so I'm not going to switch to Ableton. That's just me. A me thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I got the link from Zephy, and we're going to feedback it first, and then we'll get to the question from Shark SGD. Is that okay?
Yeah, I was about to ask about that.
Yeah, we got the link from Zephy. The beginning soundtrack by Zephy.
Alrighty.
Let's give it a big old pause, and we're gonna listen to this in 3, 2, 1. 1. Sounds epic.
Yeah.
It's really epic, damn.
I like this.
I could hear this in like a. Since I've been playing The Witcher so much, I could listen to this in Witcher, for example, or Skyrim, or something like one of those epic games.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I do. Oh shit. Okay, I do have some things to say, but overall, this is a really epic song, and I like the instrumental, like the cinematic drums, the whole instrumental thing that you got going on. This is really cool. Though what I have to say is, it feels a bit too dragging and repetitive. It goes on for a bit too long without much progression going on. You should add more elements, more epic stuff. Maybe make it a tad bit shorter, because even though it's really cool to listen to this for a long period of time in like an epic game and stuff, it does need more variation, or you would have to make it shorter and repeat. Something I'd say also, that trumpet sounds a bit too weird. I feel like instead of that little trumpet, you could have something else like big horns in the back and stuff like that. Though that little trumpet could be layered with something else to make it feel a bit better. I don't know. Also, you have that that synth arp going on. That it can work. It depends on the direction that you're going for, but I feel like you should use more instrumental elements in this kind of tracks, instead of having something so like out of place. Though it's not something that's bothersome. Like, it doesn't bother me. It's just a little bit of an insight. The vocals, more throughout the ending, they could be louder. like that choir thing you have going in the background could be a tiny bit louder, not too much, because it sounds good anyways the way it is. But the vocals in the end, where there's actual lyrics that I don't understand, they could sound way louder in my opinion, and it would make it a lot more epic. I'd say that's all I have to say about this one. Do you have anything to add, Eric?
Yes, a little bit. I had to switch back to my phone because my Wi-Fi did its thing again.
Oh no.
But let's see. So when I listened through, kind of like what you said about the progression, one thing that I would have changed is not necessarily the progression itself of the whole thing, but on a smaller scale within each phrase. I think there could have been a lot more variation, because within cinematic music, if everything is just kind of the exact same phrase over and over, it just, like, I'm just trying to think about, because I come from a marching band background. If that was something our band played, it would just have been really, really boring, because it was just the same exact phrase over and over with some stuff added. But try to add like little bits of variation, like little different rhythms of the drums, like the same basic structure, but just small things to make it to where each section is unique.
Yeah, exactly. That also work.
And I don't remember if you touched on the ARP or not, because I had to connect on my phone. Okay, yeah, but that sounded a little bit out of place. I think one thing that could have fixed it would be to raise the decay a little bit, so it's a little bit longer, and then maybe add reverb, so it sounds more like natural-ish. But that was all I had.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Overall, like a really good orchestral, like epic sounding track. Really good, man.
All right, I'm gonna switch over to my computer again real fast.
Go for it. Whilst you do that, I'm gonna go ahead and set up the next raffle. So you guys can type raffle in chat right now, and also ask questions to Mr. Mr. Ace Aura. We already have two questions. Yeah, you do have two questions.
I can answer those. All right, so I'll go ahead and read it because it's kind of far up. I have a question for Ace Aura. It's probably a secret, but do you layer your fast 16th note melodic basses on your drops with other instruments, or is it all made with one patch? What is your method? So I will not give away the method because that is my thing. But what I do to make them, it is usually layered. So kind of like what I talked about earlier is I'll make a pretty long sequence of basses and then chop them up into different sequences. So like I'll make a really long file and just kind of record with my computer and tweak things, settings of the like effects or the synth that I used, and then kind of chop it up and sequence it and then like compress it and stuff like that, add external effects. But usually I will do multiple layers of that. So, but to answer the question, it's usually not one patch. It'll be a synth that I bounce to audio and then sequence that way. And it is layered.
Cool. Alright, sick. The other question is, hey, ASR Music, do you know about MDK?
No. I have no idea what that is.
Okay, MDK is a producer called Morgan David King. He's actually really cool.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of him.
He was more popular in the old days now, but he still does some cool shit.
Okay. Yeah, if anyone has like any kind of link or some way to search it, I'll do that too.
Yeah. Someone asked, you guys keep asking questions and type in raffle, but yeah. Ace Aura, have you watched some of Mr. Bill's videos? He got some really weird cool ideas.
Yes, that's where I have a lot of my... That's where I got inspired to experiment and come up with my own sound design. Mr. Bill is one of my favorite producers. I haven't talked about him much because my music doesn't mimic him that much. But yes, he's one of my favorite producers. I love all of his stuff because it's all unique. And that's kind of what inspired me to just not really listen to what everyone else is doing, just kind of do my own thing in regards to sound design. Short answer, yes.
Sick. So, do you guys have any more questions? Since you're all raffled in, you might as well enroll it while you get your questions in. So let's go in 3, 2, 1. Liquid P has won. That's an amazing name.
Wow.
Also, Titus asks, what do you use in your post-production?
Ooh, I don't know how much to give away because some of the post is what makes my signature sound. But OTT, of course, I'll do some lighter, maybe like chorus or like kind of background effects to give it more depth so it's not just super dry. Reverb. Let's see. Definitely distortion, saturation.
Very important in like a lot of bass designs.
Yeah, and I have a secret processing that I use to kind of give it more of a chord-like sound. But yeah, some of it is within the synth as well. But yeah, processing is not all that in depth except for the secret stuff.
Alright, so I'm gonna link it. Boom. I'm gonna link this, and last thing is, sounded like you use multi-band splitting. Do you use sampler in Ableton?
Sometimes I use a sampler, but I don't usually split bands for processing except for OTT, which is a multi-band compressor.
Yeah, that's fair. Liquid P, don't worry, we got your link. It deletes because in case you send a private link, no one will see it. Anyways, that is it. It's la part de choses, old school boom bap hip hop beat. Jesus Christ, that was a mouthful. Let's pause the music and listen to this. It's probably just a beat. Let's go for it. In 3, 2, 1. So it's pretty much like a beat, and it probably repeats over here. Okay.
Cool.
All right. So I have a few things to say. I'm gonna say this before I forget. When you do the outro with the tape stop, don't just make that unique and make the tape stop stay. like because you made the tape stop go down and then it went up again and you heard like a reverb tail in the end. Just make the tape stop stay so you don't hear that tail in the end, or just cut it off in master. Okay. So I don't have much to say. I mean, it's a beat. It does what it does, and it's probably meant to be in the background of a video or just have vocals over it. But what I'd say is it could have a snappier snare layered on the snare that you have right now. Just a tiny, just a low volume, just to layer it and make your snare stand out a bit more. Also, the 808 that you have is off key. It is 3 semitones up from where it should be. So go to your piano roll or whatever you're using and pitch down the notes 3 semitones, and it should fix it. That is pretty much all I have to say, though.
Unless he wanted it to be in major. I mean, I don't know. You could experiment with it.
If you wanted it to be in major, I feel like the melody that he has then should be in major. The melody on top, because that's in minor as well.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
But yeah. I feel like that's all. Do you have anything to add though? Yeah.
Not really, because I'm not really experienced with like hip hop beats. Like this would, I'm just thinking this would be fine if it was like in the background of something. There wasn't really all that I could pick out as being distracting.
Exactly, yeah. Nothing too standoutish. Nothing sticks out too much. It's all fine. It's a beat.
It's good.
It's a fine beat. So yeah. How about we go for one or two more? So a few more. I'd say we still have time.
Yeah. My Your EDM premiere should be up pretty soon.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Chime, if you're in chat, let us know when the premiere comes up so we can listen to it together and stream.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
I'll play it out for the boys. So yeah, keep your questions coming, and also type raffle in chat if you want your track to be feedback live by me and Asora. Go for it. Boom.
Boom. Reading through, don't see any new questions yet.
Yeah, me neither.
All right.
You have answered.
This has been fun.
It has.
Thanks for having me, man. This is cool.
No problem. It's been better than expected. I was honestly quite nervous to do this because I never really did like a quote unquote Q&A interview with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So it did quite nice. Hey,
yeah, I'm glad we had a good stream of questions to answer. What mic do you use? Like right now? This is literally just my laptop mic.
Oh wow. Do you have any professional mic?
Well, I have one.
Thanks
but
for the
I don't
follow,
use
by
it
the way,
very
Liquid
often.
P.
I think you might have talked about, like, okay, so for Fabricator, I have a field recorder called a Tascam DR05, and that's what I use to record any vocals using my music most of the time.
Okay. Cool. Alright, so if everyone's raffled in, let's roll it, shall we? Is everyone raffled in? So let's go in 3, 2, 1. Hey, it's Bunker! Subscriber luck!
Wow!
Let's go ahead and send your track. There you go. Try to send the link first before saying yeet, or else Nightbot's not gonna freaking load it. I'm gonna have to go here and get the... Oh, it's the Let's Zing collab. Oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeetbot.
Twitch Prime Power. Alright, let's go and load this in. ID4 with Let's Zing, which I'm very excited to hear.
Hashtag dub.
Dub. Alright, let's go and listen to this in 3, 2, 1. Ooh. Oh man. Yeah, I know Punker as well. He's amazing. I feel like having vocals in this would be cool.
I agree. At least in the emptier sections.
Yeah. Nice percussion. This is so chill. Oh
Wow.
boy.
I love this.
I mean, do you really have anything to say? But the only thing I have to say is get a vocalist on this. I could do it, but I'm so busy, and I also need to pay
Wait.
monies.
I'm already following you, and I don't know when I followed you. I must have heard one of your other tracks. Okay.
Bunker, this is absolutely amazing, and if you give me enough time to get shit out of the way, and I would probably sing on this. This is really good.
I had one comment. It is very nitpicky, but at the end of the second drop, I feel like it's missing something. I don't know what it is, but that's it.
I kind of felt that, but I really didn't pay too much mind to it because I was really enjoying it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's really good overall. Jesus Christ. I also don't know if the second drop, if the ARP could be just a
Let's fight this out up on the hill then. If you've the guts.
Christ.
Yeet.
That was amazing, dude. So yeah, A-Star Intrusion out right now as a premiere on Your EDM's collection. Go check it out. Links in chat. The things involved with posting it.
Yeah.
And Follow just says, I'm just gonna say Eric invented melodic rhythm.
I would say Chime did that before I did.
I would agree, even though you kinda do it like amazingly as well, in a different style as well from Chime.
Yeah, it's different.
It is, yeah. But yeah, great job, man. In fact,
Thank you.
after that, you guys should go check it out. But while you guys do that, you guys can still send questions, and if you guys are all raffled, we can go ahead and raffle the next boy in, shall we, for feedback?
All right, how many more are we gonna do?
I feel like 2 more. This one and another one.
Okay.
Just so we don't get worn out.
Cool.
But yeah, get them raffles coming. And yeah, check out the Discord channel if you guys want to join in the after party and talk to us.
Yeah.
Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Matteo has won the raffle. Go ahead and send your track in chat, my dude. And maybe play some Minecraft. Hell yeah, we're all gonna play some dank-ass Minecraft like yesterday. I played till 6 a.m. whilst drunk. That was a trip.
I bet.
Teratoma by Matteo. Alright. Let's go and listen to this, shall we?
Alrighty.
I'm gonna link it to you because I should.
Yes.
Oh, Hubsy asked a question for Eric. What do you use the most for making leads and basses, etc.?
Let me go back to the stream. Okay. Most for making leads and bases. So for bases, it used to be Serum, but I guess this is more unreleased stuff. Recently, it's become Operator, Ableton's built-in synth. But previously to that, most of the stuff you're hearing now, like in this EP, is going to be Serum. And for leads are also Serum mostly.
Really cool, yeah. But most of what I use, to be honest, is Serum as well. I just work better with it.
It's a good synth.
It is. So yeah, let us listen to Matteo Teratoma in 3,
Righty.
2, 1.
Talking behind my back is that it just keep coming back to me, nigga. Was off for a sec, now it's back to me, nigga. You mad at me? This ain't what I want, man. This what it had to be. This is that late night working after 3, man. This is why my old girl was mad at me. This why I'm your majesty, man. The click is the tightest, the pussy the tightest, the drinks are the coldest, the future the brightest, the feet not divided, the love is divided, and I just gotta thank God that we got it. Bitch, I don't know what I would do without the crew. Look like we robbed the bank, but all we make is deposits. Your profit will profit. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Strip. Look, I live the life I deserve. Bless. Fuck a vacay, I feel better at work. I mean, whatever it's worth, I give whatever I'm worth. For my niggas who gon' go to hell and back for me, I'ma give them heaven on earth for a hell of a check, yeah, whichever come first. Blessings on blessings on blessings. Look at my life, man, that's lessons on lessons on lessons. I treat the beat like it's a reverend. I tell the truth like, Father, forgive me, these are all my confessions, man. This wasn't luck, it was destined. I done lost homies who been with me since Ed and Eddie, who flip like a Betty. And it was you back, they back to call you dog. That shit can get petty. Bitch, don't get no dap to me, nigga.
Oof.
All right.
Damn. That is an interesting song. I feel like
Yeah, I like the tempo of it.
Yeah, the tempo, the dark, eerie atmosphere is quite good. I feel like the drums are a bit too drowned out in the mix. They do need to be a bit louder. I feel like there's a lot of compression going on here.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, it feels like it. Your master chain is struggling almost with the compression. So it's like you're driving it way too much. The vocals that you have could stand out a lot more. They aren't really that audible because your mix feels a bit too focused on that low end, and sometimes it gets a bit too messy, especially with that respace that you have, where you focus so much on it and it's so loud that first off, it lacks movement, so it's very static, and also the high end of that respace sounds quite overpowering, and everything else in the song sounds quite drowned out by it. I don't have much else to say besides that. Definitely do fix the drums mostly and volumes. Like, it's mostly like mixing. As far as ideas and all that stuff goes, it's pretty good. Do you have anything to add?
Nope, that was it. Just the mix.
Yeah, the mix just needs work. Everything else is quite cool. Anyways,
I don't know if it was that the vocals were sidechained or something, but they would duck really oddly in some sections, and I think they were overall just too quiet too.
I can
But
agree.
my rule of thumb for vocals is that I don't usually sidechain them unless they're like vocal chops. Because vocals, I think, are usually supposed to be a main element.
Yeah, unless it's like a very pumpy track, like Madionish style track or whatever. I never sidechain my vocals, and when I do, it's very, very slight. Anyways, last raffle of the day, guys, and then we hop onto Discord. You can scroll down to join the after party. But after this raffle, we're done for today. I'd like to, before we finish and roll, you guys can go ahead and type raffle in chat. Go ahead and do that. Before we do finish, though, I thank you so much for joining the stream, man. It was a pleasure having you over.
Thank you, man. It was fun being here.
No problem, man. Anytime. It was really cool. But yeah, go ahead and type raffle in chat. What's going on in the after party in Discord? Well, we just chat and talk there, and then we just have all around good fun. We can also go ahead and play some Minecraft, because why not?
I might not be able to stay very long, because I have stuff to get ready before I leave later today.
Yeah, that's totally fine, man.
But I will stay for as much as I can.
Alright.
You're welcome, Titus. It was fun being here.
Alright, how about we roll it in 3, 2, 1. Never Let Music has won the raffle. Go ahead and send your track in chat, and we'll feedback it.
Fancy.
There you go, we got it. by Underself. Ooh. Got that. T11 ID, work in progress.
I've heard of T11. I think he entered another remix contest that I did.
Oh,
Let me check real fast.
I didn't know that. Yeah, you go ahead and check that. And then we listen.
Yeah, the Imperia contest. I remember. Okay, cool.
Alright, sick. Let us go in. Let me first off pause that music. There you go. Let's go in 3, 2, 1.
Whoa.
That was insane.
That was crazy.
That is insane. There's really only one thing. Yeah, the live stream's always saved, and I might upload it to YouTube. This time. But yeah, okay. It's the only thing I have to say is in the break before the drop and the build up, that snare clap that you have right there, I don't know. I'm not digging it. I feel like it could use like an actual snare that is not as clappy. Everything else, I have nothing to say, man. This is really good. Really, really good.
Absolutely crazy. Okay, so I want to say 3 things. None of them are criticism.
Go for it. Go for it.
Number 1, please send this to me when it's done. Number 2, I might be a bit biased because G sharp minor is my second favorite key, but I really, really, really liked the fast bass in the second half of the drops. That was really cool. And then 3, you have improved very, very, very fast in like the 4 months since I heard that last release. Keep it up.
Yeah, that is crazy, man. Great job. I gotta clap at thee, man.
Woo!
Fucking good job. So, I think that's it for the live stream, huh?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, don't forget, as always, to go ahead and follow the guest. In this case, Ace Aura. Let me just go.
That's me.
That is you. Oh my god. Go ahead and follow Ace Aura right here on SoundCloud. Tomorrow, his EP full is gonna come out. You can also go check his premiere on Your EDM out now. You can also go and check his YouTube channel where he's gonna break down some of his tracks eventually.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really cool, and you can join the after party. We're gonna be there. We're gonna chat. We're gonna have some good fun. So go ahead and join that, and follow Ace Aura as always. Man, thank you for being in the stream.
Thanks so much for having me.
Say goodbye to chat.
Bye bye.
And alas, it is time for me to go as well. Let me just fucking there you go. Alright, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for asking questions to Ace Aura, and see you guys next time.